Hello guys and welcome to Comic Book Wednesdays. Yep, I'm still doing that. Yeah, it's been a while. I apologize for that inconvenience. Mostly because I've been busy a lot lately. A lot of work situations, I'm busy again. I'm graduating soon, guys, so I can't help but be, busy. But don't worry, in about a week or two, I'll probably be able to get these out more constantly, more faster and faster. Definitely want to because they're worth it. But today, I'm picking up Injustice, but also I'm picking up my comics that I missed last week, which was the Green Team and Nightwing number 20. So I'll see you in a second. Alright guys, we're back. It's officially Comic Book Wednesday, and I have no idea if this is going up on Wednesday or not. I thought that was me. I'm like, there's no car behind me. So we kind of have an issue. First off, I want to start off with that. They didn't have everything in stock. Let me be honest. Let me just say, number one, it wasn't Nightmare number 20 that I was picking up. It was JLA number 4. I don't know if they didn't have it or if it didn't come out. I'll have to check DC's website. However, they also didn't have Injustice number 4, which was supposed to come out today. So what I'm thinking is I'm probably going to go over to the other comic book store today and then pick that up because I got an hour and a half to chill before I have to do a rehearsal. So I'm probably going to do that and, get that all done. And this is probably going to come out on Thursday. Let me explain. I have a meeting tonight, which today is Wednesday, and I have a meeting, and unfortunately I probably will not have enough time because it's going to be a long meeting probably. It's going to take up the rest of my night, I already know that. But I gotta do what I can. So I'm going to check over there, see if I can get the Injustice number 4 and JLA number 4, but we did get Green Team number 1, which is great because that was kind of the one that I was expecting to be really good last week. Now let me explain why I haven't been doing Comic Book Wednesdays. I've had money. I actually have the comics at home, except for, JLA and Green Team, which I just got today, but I didn't have the other comics last week, so I was trying to think for a minute there. Oh, well, you fell. Okay, so I had the money the week before, so I could have done a Comic Book Wednesdays. My problem really was that I didn't have time. That Wednesday was just a bad day for me. I immediately had to go do an appointment, and I had to go to a meeting. Plus, I had a band. No, that was last Wednesday. Not even. Oh wait, yes, that was last Wednesday. I'm like trying to think off the top of my head, what day was it? No. I had a meeting that day as well too, so I couldn't really do an aftershock, and I had to immediately go, and it was crazy. It was just crazy stuff. But finally back, guys. This is probably going to be posted up on Thursday though, because again I have a meeting. Last Wednesday, I was super busy again. Last Wednesday definitely was not good. I had actually got into a car accident last Wednesday, so it would have been really impossible for me to have been filming because I was in the ER all day with my brother because he got injured. So excuse me for having a real life and having to deal with situations. It could have been worse. You guys could have never had Comic Book Wednesdays ever again. But everything's fine. I'm in my car, as you can see, so I'm perfectly fine. The car that I was driving, unfortunately, it didn't survive, so we have to get a new car, which is not good because we really don't have the money. But again, I'm just trying to make the best of this, and comic books are my way to get out of it, so I'm glad I got it. Let me back up now, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more, and then we'll look at the Green Team. Okay, so we moved. Alright, we moved, and last week again, so we had the car accident, but unfortunately I also wasn't able to pick up the comics, so I couldn't just talk about it on my Twitter. But why don't I talk about the comics that did come out 2 weeks ago, since I really didn't get a chance to. I'll probably put a little image around here or something about the comics each. First, we had the Age of Ultron number 8. Now, I wasn't expecting much from coming out of Age of Ultron number 7. I thought it was good, but not the best. Again, there wasn't really much of Ultron, but We got Iron Man. Tony Stark is basically the Ultron now. And it's crazy, this world. But Defenders, instead of the Avengers, you had the Defenders, which, you know, already did exist in the Marvel Universe, as the Defenders were Doctor Strange, Silver Surfer, the Hulk, and Ghost Rider, and, like, those characters. They basically fought mystical forces, but I guess now they're fighting as the Avengers, which is really weird. Do you call the mystical force team the Avengers? Whatever. Over-exaggerating, but, you know, they're trying to deal with the fact that they have a Sue Storm and Wolverine from the Age of Ultron time coming in and, like, what is going on? And, of course, Tony Stark starts interrogating Wolverine, and it gets a little too drastic. And, yeah, shit really goes down, I'll tell you that for sure, definitely. It was one of my favorites, definitely. It's finally brought itself back up, and I can't wait to see what number 9 brings. We also had Nightwing number 20. Nightwing number 20 brought us the Prankster finally. And, you know, you're developing this character of the Prankster, trying to make him not like the Joker. But, you know, we finally got to see Nightwing fight the Prankster finally, which is cool. Because that's what we needed. And in the end, it's kind of dramatic. The ending gets, oh, whoa, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen? After that, we had Avengers Enemy Within, which is a standalone story, but at the same time, it's going to connect with the Captain Marvel books and the Avengers Assemble comic book. I'm trying to think at the top of my head. Basically, it's a little story about Carol and Spider-Woman. I can't remember what her name was, but they're trying, you know, fight through stuff, and unfortunately, it's pretty bad. I don't care what people said. I've watched a video about a girl who absolutely just loved the comic. And I don't know if it's because it was a woman, like, supremacy book or not, but I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It was really bad. The artwork is poorly drawn, and I just didn't care for the characters and the situation. I think most of it comes from the artwork, though. The artwork is just horrible. Terrible. And finally, we had another book. I'm trying to remember what that book was. It was the best book of the week, of that week 2 weeks ago. Nova number 4. He fights the fucking, I'm sorry for swearing, but, he fights the, Chitauri. You know, the Avengers villains that he fought. That's pretty freaking cool. And yeah, it does really bring up more dramatic stuff, and you get to see one of Nova's dad's old partners, you know, what happened to him, and basically not the full story that Nova wants to know. And the ending is really dramatic. I'm really looking forward to the conclusion of this story arc for Nova and how it's going to basically, like, build up from there. It seems to be really interesting. Let's get back to the real comics this week. Like, because I don't know what last week was like, but I'll know for one, definitely. But again, I will update you guys in a couple of minutes once I know, or the title will completely say what this video is. Or you'll see it on Friday and you'll know I got it all. But today I got the Green Team. This is written by Art Baltazar, and I love art. I do like art, but I like art. Baltazar's work is great. It's kiddie, but it's great. Let me be honest. I've been a fan of Baltazar for a long time. I've been a fan before he started working on Tiny Titans. That's basically where I knew him from. But I met him in person at a Comic-Con a couple years ago. I have the first 2 issues of Tiny Titans still signed by him. I'll show you in the video. At the end of the video, those are definitely going to be the highlights of the video. And yeah, he was a fantastic guy. It's so funny to meet him. He's such a funny guy in person, you know. His artwork is fantastic. Of course, he didn't draw the artwork for this book, but, you know, he does have that iconic artwork. He does do the Superman Family Adventures books now, which I haven't really picked up because, you know, I was more of a fan of the Tiny Titans, I'll be honest. But, you know, I recommend. I think it is a good book. I hear some good things about it, but definitely, I'm looking forward to this because this is definitely going. It looks promising because, of course, it's art. Of course, it's art. Ha ha ha! You get it? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, this should be good. Okay, and this will be an update for you. I should be doing these every week from now on, probably. It might be a hard issue for next week because I believe next week only has the one issue of, I believe it's only Age of Ultron next week, but you know, I'm not sure. I'll update you in the next video, of course. I'm looking at, I see people just walking around outside, but I'll update you definitely for what's going to come. Yeah, so without further ado, let's see if I get the comics next week, or do we have to wait till Friday to watch this whole video. Alright guys, it is Thursday, and I didn't talk to you guys, and I didn't post this on Wednesday like I thought I wasn't, but this is a Thursday, and this is Comic Book Wednesday, so I kind of messed it up myself. But we do have good news. I did go to the other store, and I got them. I got the other 2 books. So here's Green Team like before. Here's Injustice number 5. And here's JLA number 4. I kind of mixed up my own schedule. I didn't realize that JLA number 4 came out this week, believe it or not. I don't know why it came, I thought it came out last week, but you know, I got that weird problem with me. But anyway, let's actually talk about the books now. The books, you know, pretty good. Surprisingly this week, except for probably one, I believe. I'll get to that. So first, let's get off with last week's book that happened. Green Team, which would have been the number 1 for last week technically, because JLA number 4 came out this week. So yes, Green Team, congratulations, you're the only one that really made it last week. Good for you. Well, this week we only had Injustice number 5 and JLA number 4. Let's talk about Injustice number 5. So, Injustice number 5, we got all this crazy stuff happening, you know. First, it's basically about the Flash this time around, Flash's point at this time, and kind of the conflicting relationship between Batman and Robin, or Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne in this universe. And you can definitely see that. Definitely the conflictions between the characters are excellent. Definitely, it's a great gap, like, they go at it, basically. And at the end, it's just, ooh, Harley Quinn wants to get some of her revenge. But, you know, something happens at the end of the book, which we already know if you played the game. Basically, it's gonna be kind of the polar opposite. But there is not a foreshadow, but kind of like a glimpse of the future. Of course, that Batman's gonna be talking about that someone's dead, but like you already know who it is if you played the game. Of course, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't, even though the game's been out for over a month now. But still, it's very shocking to know that this happened, but I want to see what technically happened. I thought this was really good this week. And of course we had JLA number 4, which I was just really confused about this week. Let me be honest. Can anyone tell me what's really going on? So Catwoman's in Arkham, or somewhere, you know, trying to figure out where she is. And then the JLA's trying to go get this guy who I don't know exactly what this is for. They didn't really go into it that much. But then they all of a sudden fight Bigfoot, who breathes fire. Anyone want to explain that to me either? I really don't know where this guy came from. He's on the front cover, in fact. I'm like, ooh, this would be interesting. I hope they explain it a little bit more. I really didn't get much of an explanation, really. Catwoman's going into more deeps about this stuff. You know, she's meeting these strange characters. And the ending, I thought the ending was shocking, definitely. But you already know that at the end, it's not true. But it's suspenseful, definitely. If that was... Actually, now that I think about it, they're going to be going on about this. It's going to be a plot that they're going to be doing, definitely, in the book. It's going to be going into this character series as well. So that limits it out. You already know it's a character who owns a series already. So that basically just only has Green Arrow, Vibe, Catwoman, Katana. Those 4 are the only options you really have to guess for. Oh, and well, Green Lantern, who isn't there yet, which, again, why? We want to see this new Green Lantern in action. I really don't even know his name yet. Leave in the comments below what his name is, because I don't know. I don't read Green Lantern that much. I just know Jeff Johns is all about it, and yet he's not putting the character in there. So, you know, I know he's just done with Green Lantern now, but still, that'd be kind of cool if you finally bring in your Green Lantern that you finally want to get in. Like, seriously, you want to do that? But yeah, the book is kind of confusing. At the end, there's a little story with Martian Manhunter, getting a little bit more backstory about him, which is fine, except I really want to get a Martian Manhunter comic already, like I think most people do. Martian Manhunter is one of those badass DC characters that you want to see already get into the comics. So, be honest, number 2, number 1, we already knew that. But, yeah, of course we already knew that, but you know, it was still good. What can I say? They do this to us. And of course, Green Team from last week, let me go a little bit more into detail. It's about the 1% rich kids, you know, who want to become superheroes, really. And yeah, they're kind of getting over their heads a little bit. It's funny, and you know what? It's like a completely different tone from the movement. I guess, you know, Gail Simone and probably Baltazar both worked together with it to just to decide how they were going to do this. But yeah, it's definitely really comedic, definitely. So, finally, let's go on to the comics for next week. So next week, we have a big week because both companies, Marvel and DC, both have 2 issues that I'm going to be picking up. You know, just hoping that they're good. Let's go with Marvel first, because Marvel's not really that exciting. We have Age of Ultron number 9, like I explained earlier, which should be great. I'm looking forward to see what happens after that. It's gonna be iffy, you know, depending on it. But, you know, I want to see the ending because I know that the Avengers AI is coming out, and I want to see how Hank Pym comes back from the dead, technically. But, you know, it'd be interesting because if he's going to be building Vision in the AI series, you know, I want to know how that works, too. We also have Thanos Rising number 3, and everyone knows I'm already not a big fan of Thanos number 2. Thanos Rising number 2. Thanos Rising number 1 I thought was great. Thanos Rising number 2 I thought was just poop. I'll be honest. It wasn't really that good. I still recommend picking it up if you're really into the Thanos character. But yeah, then again, you don't want to hear whiny teenager stuff. Like, seriously. But except for the ending is very cool. Now if we go over to DC. DC has Movement number 2. Of course, everyone knows I love Movement number 1. Definitely was a great suspenseful book. And yeah, it was really cool. Definitely loved it. But of course, the big one for next week, Batman, Superman, numero uno. Great to see these characters finally bringing back together in their own series, together again. I'm expecting that to be the number 1 for next week, of course. But definitely is going to be great. Only thing is, I'm really not sure how I'm going to do it next week, because next week I have finals and prom and all this other stuff going on through high school. So I may not bring you it next week, but I'll definitely talk about it in the week after, because I know I want to talk about it. And then the comic book Wednesday after that, you know, we have to talk about, because that's the beginning of 0 Year for Batman and Superman Unchained. It's just going to be great after that. And plus, I'll be able to do this more often because I'll be in summer. And yeah, summer vacation. Hello, people. That's when the comics will be booming. And definitely, because we have Trinity War coming up, we have the end of the Age of Ultron and the beginning of Infinity soon. Definitely. Oh, and the 0 Year, of course, already. And Superman Unchained coming out. Do I have anything else, really, that I can think off the top of my head? What If AVX? I know that's a spin-off of it. Let me just make sure I'm getting all of this. Superior Spider-Man month is coming in July, which will be kind of interesting because, you know, they're getting rid of Avenging Spider-Man, which they're supposed to assume Spider-Man's supposed to quit the Avengers, which is cool and all, but who really cares? I mean, at this point, no one really cares. July, we're going to have Batman Annual number 1. We're also going to have Batman 66. And, of course, the director's cut is Batman 0 Year number 1. It's a director's cut, so of course it's going to be called number 1. But, you know, and they're going to finish off the What If AVX thing. I'm not really sure what that's about, again, because the AVX event, yeah, I thought it was good, definitely. But, again, I have no idea. It's a what if, again. And Marvel's what ifs are usually all really good or really poor. I'll have to admit. But that's pretty much the end for this Comic Book Wednesday. I apologize for being really long and delayed a little bit. Again, I had a lot of stuff going on Wednesday. Then I had to delay this a little bit, and I do apologize. Of course, please pick up the comics I talked about earlier. Of course, that means the Green Team and Injustice. But of course, you can pick up JLA if you are kind of interested in the series. I know number 3 was definitely the better of the issues, but still, I don't know what happened this issue. It definitely was action-packed like the last one, but again, I don't know what happened. And they have an invisible jet, I'll just tell you that for sure. So you kind of get interested from there, definitely. But, you know, I just want to know a little bit more. I know that the 6th run, the next issue should be the end of it, because they're going to be, you know, getting done with this whole, like, introduction to the series, and they're going to begin the Trinity War with Justice League and Justice League Dark, which, again, I'm kind of interested to see what that's going to do, but again, you know, it's going to be awkward because Jeff Johns is writing 2 series and Jeff Lemire is writing 1 series, but Jeff Lemire is probably one of the better writers for DC. And I bet you're probably wondering why I didn't pick up Adventures of Superman. Well, I was one of those boycotters of the book because of that writer and that scandal. If you want to go into it more, you can look it up, definitely. I know they suspended him from the project, but they could bring him back, definitely. A lot of artists and writers don't want to work with him, and I know it has a lot of good people working on it, but again, I'm sorry. I don't want to pick it up because, again, I apologize, DC, definitely. It looked to be a promising book, but I really just don't want to pick it up because of those causes, I know. So, you know what, if you want to, you know, convince me otherwise, DC, send me a couple free copies. I'm just kidding, and DC's not even going to watch this. I'm just an avid comic reader. They just want their money. What can I say? I picked up mostly their stuff for the last 2 weeks. I'm picking up a lot of their stuff in the summer, definitely. But, you know, that's pretty much it for this Comic Book Wednesday. I'm sorry for rambling on and delayed again. I apologize for the 3rd time. I'm sorry for apologizing for too much as well. So, yep, that's it for this, and I'll check you out in about next week or the week after, definitely. It's going to be on a Wednesday, though, I promise you that.